Oh, absolutely, Andy. I mean, I think that's their best album by far. Their best album by far. We're talking about the Doobie Brothers that we were listening to just before we came on air. We were listening to the album What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits. That had another Sunday on it. Everybody says Captain and Me album is better. That was the album that came out before. I disagree. I do. I disagree. I know my music. That album, the album I like, came out my sophomore year. Yeah. Andy and I both agree. We were talking that the Doobie Brothers were much a better band than when Michael McDonald joined. Remember? Yeah, what a fool believe. Yeah, I can't even do Michael McDonald. Yeah. They sold out. Like I talk about REO Speedwagon. REO did their Riding the Storm Out album and 451 Park Avenue album. Those first two, they were rocking and rolling, and then they were like, then I'm gonna keep on loving you. Check balance and stuff. Became like Journey. Good morning. It is a Monday, January 29th. That's hot. Holy. What a difference a couple weeks makes, ain't it? Jeez. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, we were doing the 100th podcast, and the Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Final was at Great Falls. And what the rodeo brings is, what was it 2 weeks ago? When we were that weekend, when we came to work on that Monday morning 2 weeks ago, it was 38 below. This week, the 60s. And I'm not talking about peace, love, listening to the Jefferson Airplane and doing acid 60s. Talking we're literally going to be in the 60s all week long. I can't believe it. All week long, 60s. It's first week of February in Montana. Forecast brings extended. It says it's going to be the more to blame. I can hear him now. Oh, let's move everything outside so we can do brunch. We can do brunch at 60. Yeah, move everything outside in February. That, like I said, today, Andy, today is the 29th, and that marks the 95th anniversary of the Seeing Eye Dog. And I have that in quotes. The Seeing Eye Dog. And cheesy, Andy. Come on. It's also Appreciation Day for all dogs who act as their eyes and ears for their owners, but the seeing eye, and I'm doing that in quotes because the seeing eye was founded in 1929. That's what, 95 years ago. I got it. Okay. 90, I got the math. Man, you don't have a sound effect for when I get the math. Basically what it was co-founded by Morris Frank. And Morris Frank was a blind veteran in the United States here. and Dorothy Harrison Estes, okay. And she was an American dog breeder trainer, and she was living in Switzerland, and somehow they hooked up because of he wanted to get around, and she trained 2 dogs, and he picked one, and that dog was named Buddy. Yeah, that's pretty cool, Andy. That dog was named Buddy, and he was basically the first seeing eye dog ever to get credit and press, and was walking around New York with his owner and stuff, and like I said, in January 29th, okay, which is today in 1929, Frank and Estes, they co-founded this Seeing Eye, and it was founded in Morrison, New Jersey, Morristown, New Jersey. Okay, and since then they've earned a reputation as basically a trailblazer, if you want to, basically a trailblazer in the dog training movement. They're an advocate for the rights of service dog handlers and the dogs, both in the United States and Canada. And they started this, like I said, in 1929. There wasn't the American with Disabilities Act yet. There wasn't, this was the first Seeing Eye dog ever. Okay? It's a big deal. And 95 years later, here they are, still celebrating that day. So basically, we're celebrating their association, but all seeing all dogs have like jumped on the bandwagon, which is that's okay. Dogs are, Andy's like, what are the most frequent kinds? Chihuahuas? No. The most frequent breeds that are used in service dogs, seeing eye dogs, are the Labrador Retrievers and the Golden Retrievers. Can't you just love that? You gotta love labs. Remember now, when I'm talking about the seeing eye dog, I shorten that. And shorten it up. So remember, it's the Seeing Eye. It's a trademark name, and it can only be used to describe the dogs bred and trained at the school's facilities in Morristown, New Jersey. Okay? But, I like big butts and I cannot die. And blah, blah, blah. What? I cannot lie. Those other men can die. What? Okay. Like I said, the Seeing Eye is celebrating their 95th anniversary today. But today they also celebrate not only the Seeing Eye, but they celebrate dogs like everywhere. Today is the day to celebrate dogs. And what a good idea to celebrate dogs, Andy, right? Except when we interrupt the podcast. Then go lay down. So, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. The Seeing Eye, trademarked. Remember that. You can find them online. We looked them up. They're a pretty big deal. They're a pretty big deal, and they like I said, it's like dogs everywhere. So today celebrate your service dogs, sport dogs, Seeing Eye dogs, heck, all dogs, right? Right. Why not? Cheerio. Cheerio to dogs. We were going right there. Last week, was it Thursday, Andy? Throw it up on the screen for me. Thursday evening, the great redneck state of Alabama carried out the first execution of a death row inmate, prisoner in the United States or anywhere else, for that matter, in the world using nitrogen gas. Yep. What they used it? Nitrogen hypoxia? Hypoxia. Okay. It was a untested procedure, which the prisoner that it was tested on, his lawyers had argued that it had amounted to the violation of the, what amendment is it? 5th? What amendment? Of the Second Amendment? Due process. Okay, cruel and unusual punishment banned in the United States Constitution. Now, Kenneth Smith, he was 58 years old. He'd already been, they'd already botched an execution, what was it, 3 years ago, on him with lethal injection. They couldn't find the vein, they could. But he was pronounced dead. So they already had tried to kill him once, and it didn't work. So Kenneth was pronounced dead at 8:25. I said last Thursday evening. He was breathing pure nitrogen gas. Now you know where our H2O is water, and we breathe oxygen and carbon or whatever. Nitrogen is in our atmosphere, but it's not enough to kill me. Okay. The execution itself took 22 minutes. Total time. 22 minutes, okay, for the starters. Okay. Alabama authorities had claimed, when it went to the courts, of course this went to the Supreme Court for the state of Alabama, and then I would assume that it went to the regional and then the Supreme Court, that the new and experimental method was perhaps the most humane execution procedure ever devised, even though they never tested it out. And get this, they didn't even, and I'm not all about animal testing, but they didn't even do that. Okay, they just said, well, we'll use nitrogen and we'll try it on this guy. Just reading about this was disturbing. It was like reading some warped movie that's some creepy eyewitnesses, reports, statements from reporters, because there's reporters there, there's family there, there's people there. They were present in the death chamber. The statements suggest that Kenneth Smith's execution and death was anything but the most humane devised. Reports say that Kenneth Smith withered, convulsed on the gurney. He took deep, deep breaths. His body was shaking violently. Eyes are rolling back, kind of be like The Exorcist. Reporters continued to say that he clenched his fist, his legs shook, he convulsed and shaked and whatever so bad that the gurney was jumping. Okay? They didn't even have the presence of mind to have, they just restrained him on a gurney and wheeled him in. Reporters also say that prison officials that carried out the execution and were in the room at the time were visibly surprised how badly things went. The Reverend Jeff Hood, he was a spiritual advisor to Kenneth, stated that what we saw was someone struggling for their life for 22 minutes. Even the White House, I know we're not going to go there with the White House. Okay, we're not. Okay, not today. Even the White House weighed in. What's the secretary's name? Jean Pierre, declared the execution very troubling, deeply concerning, about using death row inmates basically as guinea pigs. Smith wasn't no angel, not by any means. Okay, we're not talking like it was a saint here. He was convicted of the 1988 murder for hire of a pastor's wife. Her name was Elizabeth Sennett. Elizabeth Sennett. In all this we forget her name. Okay, there was a victim here, and her name was Elizabeth Sennett. So Smith and another man who turned state's evidence against Smith and didn't get the death penalty were each allegedly paid $1,000 to kill her by Charles Sennett, and that was Elizabeth's husband. He was a minister in at the Church of Christ in Alabama, who didn't testify because he committed suicide when everything started closing in on him. When everybody's like, "Yeah, we were," to his dying day. Smith declared that Kenneth is like, I'm not, I wasn't guilty. This is the other guy. It's a really complicated case. You can't. He's not guilty. He was found guilty. First of all, he was found guilty by a jury, and a jury sentenced him to life in prison. But in Alabama, they can override that, the judge sentenced him to the death penalty as co-defendant, not to the death penalty. There's questions of, there were questions of whether, he was really, really guilty or not. Things like that happen. So, several people in the UN on Friday after the execution denounced using human beings as experiments, guinea pigs, and torture as means of execution. Of course, the Alabama Attorney General now, he countered with, now you'll have nitrogen systems coming to your state very soon. It's like, whoa. Alabama, whoa. Man. No wonder Nick Saban quit. Now, you don't think that's the reason? I think Michigan just beat his butt so bad, he's just said, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's what I think. So, nitrogen system is coming to a state soon. Well, do you know that Alabama, okay? Alabama, there's Medicaid, Medicare throughout the United States of America. Okay, there are federal programs, state programs, all the states kind of do what they want. Alabama is only one of 2 states in the union that will not approve Medicaid to pay for the hepatitis C treatment. So if you have hepatitis C and you're on Medicaid, Alabama won't pay for it. Alabama's philosophy is that it is cheaper to pay for hospice after you go to hospice for hepatitis C than it is to save a citizen's life for paying for the treatment. And granted, the hepatitis C program is prohibitively expensive, but that state says that they would rather pay for your hospice than help you get cured. Who's the other state, Andy said? I'll give you one guess. We live in it, right here in Montana. So, they're the only 2 states in the union that will not help fund or do anything on Medicaid. You know, I'm sure that there's a lot of people, there's citizens that think that's a good thing. That, you know, the hepatitis C, you know, if you got it, you should die, you know, because, you know, only drug addicts get it. Read about it. Healthcare workers, people born before 1963, developmental workers, group home workers, people that work at institutions, colleges. So it's not a disease that, you know, some states that state. Yeah, we got it. Yeah. Reported last week that Jim Harbaugh has taken the job, professional job in San Diego with the Chargers. And I wish him luck. Now, when Jim Harbaugh came to Michigan, I don't think any of us thought that he would be there forever like Bo Schembechler or Lloyd Carr, okay, and just retire there, or Yost, right. We knew coming in that we knew this. He had unfinished business in the professional ranks. But he came with big promises, you know, and high hopes. And it was rocky when it started. Oh, jeez. The interception against Penn State. Oh, the blocked field goal. The blocked punt. Michigan State. We were up with no time on the clock. Blocked, you know, the Cobra. Oh, the blocked field goal. The stop at Ohio State where the refs are like the spot, okay? It was hurtful. It was like the same old stuff. Jim couldn't do it. I was critical. Everybody was critical. We wasn't getting the job done. Couldn't win the big game. Couldn't beat Michigan State. Couldn't beat Ohio State. Hell, he couldn't even beat Penn State or Wisconsin. It was hard, but he made promises. He told us, those who stay become champions. So, as time went by, and then the pandemic came, and it was like, can it get any worse than this? 4 wins? Rich Rod did this. Brady did this. Rich Rod. 4 wins. And then something happened. I don't know what it was. Magic. Kismet. But the promises that he made started to come true. Okay? We went 14-1, 14-1, 15-0. What is that? 14 40-something and 2 in the last 3 years. He said what he would do. He'd take us to the mountain. Now, if we could stay there, I don't know. But he made a promise. Boy, was it fun. It was so much fun the last 3 years. It has been just nothing like I've ever seen as a Michigan fan. It's just been crazy. It's been a roller coaster. And then all of a sudden, man. So, who's got it better than us right now? Nobody. Nobody got it better than us right now. I'm still smiling. I still got goosebumps. Shit. We won the Natty. Jim said it. He brought us back to the mountaintop as a program. We've been the number 1, 2, or 3 team in the nation for the last 3 years. Big Ten champions, last 3 years. Beat Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, last 3 years. Thank you, Jim Harbaugh, from the bottom of my heart. All the bad stuff I said, I'm sorry. You were right. You were right. And who's got it better than us right now? Nobody, dude. Thank you very much for what you did and what you've done for the program. We're on top of the world. We're on top of the world! I know it, Andy. We're on top of the world. I know everybody. Okay, now just a minute. Andy's like, just a minute. Every morning, or almost every Monday morning, I kind of share what you've been. We were listening to Led Zeppelin, or we were listening to Savoy Brown, or we were listening to Van Halen, or whatever. And everybody's like, I wish I could hear music that you were playing. You have the greatest taste in music. I wish I could hear something. If you had a job music, we'd listen and blah, 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 blah. I'll just throw a little teaser out there that you never know. You never know. Andy, do we got some stuff in the works? We got stuff cooking on the back burner. It's on the back burner. It's not on the front burner yet. Just sitting on the back burner, kind of warming up. Okay? Throwing some ideas, music in there. Never know what we're going to move into the front burner, and then throw a little garlic in there, and then BAM! I know, Andy. I know. Throw a little garlic and what was that? Emerald. Or some little bash or whatever you do, Yeah. So we're trying. We're looking into things, all right? We're looking into things. First thing I do is play Savoy Brown, a little fog. We got a little Foghat here for you. Yeah, absolutely. You know it, Andy. All right, dude. You're right. We'll do the wrap it up thing. All right. So, again, big hats off to Jim Harbaugh. We've hired Sherman Moore. I think that's the logical hire. I don't think we could have hired anybody else, Andy. I mean, really. Remember, everyone, it is that, seeing eye dog day, but it's always dog day around here. We got a dog day afternoon here with Al Pacino. Come on, everybody. Remember to spay and neuter, adopt, don't shop, volunteer, rescue, get out there and educate. Better yet, why don't you adopt a shelter pet today? All right? Andy, we're done. We are done. Until next week, enjoy the beautiful 60-degree weather all week long. We'll see you next week, Monday morning, Andy. We're out of here. Later, everybody.